man. Let's go get what we want. Hey, yeah, hey. It's about that time.
We know what we want to do. It's another opportunity for us to get better.
Alabama has won the match.
How you compete. That means how hard you play, how tough you play, how you can sustain in tough circumstances.
Welcome to TideTV This Week, brought to you by Renaissance Bank. I'm Chris England alongside Maggie Hetzel.
Alabama return to the practice field this week as the Tide gets ready for their bowl game.
Alabama will take on Michigan in the VRBO Citrus Bowl on New Year's Day. This will be the third appearance in the Citrus Bowl for the Crimson Tide and their fifth matchup against Michigan. The University of Alabama football team returned to the practice field on Monday afternoon, practicing for nearly 2 hours in shells at the Thomas Drew practice fields. Monday's session marked the first of 7 bowl practices here in Tuscaloosa before the team takes a few days off for the holiday break. The Tide will then travel to Orlando after Christmas, where they will practice 5 more times before that Citrus Bowl matchup on New Year's Day with the 14th-ranked Michigan Wolverines.
Definitely good to get back to work out there today. It's a great opportunity for a lot of players on our team to learn, grow, and improve with these practices that we have for this game. But the same message is, pay attention to detail, focus on doing the little things right. It seems like every time we don't have success in a game, those are the points that we have to emphasize and show the players. So these are habits that you want to definitely practice every day so that your focus is what it needs to be, so that you can pay attention to detail and play with great discipline.
And as many of you may know, there's a lot of construction going on around Tuscaloosa, and some of it's going on right here on campus of the University of Alabama.
While the football team is preparing for the postseason, Bryant-Denny Stadium is undergoing some major renovations. Phase 1 of the renovations at Bryant-Denny will include replacing the 4 video boards with new ones that are 60% larger. Students will have access to a ground-level plaza with upgraded concessions, restrooms, charging stations, and additional amenities. A new team tunnel will lead directly into a fully updated home team locker room. The recruiting space will be expanded to more than double its current square footage.
And the press box will be relocated to the east side of the stadium. There will be several new premium areas, including the Champions Clubs, Terrace Club, and Skyboxes and Founder Suites. Here's a look at the renderings for some of the Phase 1 renovations to Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's brought to you by BBVA.
top-ranked champions for the regular season. And Alabama wins it.
Alabama will meet Michigan in the verbose Citrus Bowl on New Year's Day. That matchup will be Alabama's third trip to the Citrus Bowl and just the fifth time two of the winningest programs in college football history have met on the gridiron. Michigan is number one all-time in wins with 962. Alabama is fourth in college football history with 915 wins, just 2 behind Yale and 7 behind second-place Ohio State. In Alabama's 2 other trips to the Citrus Bowl, the Crimson Tide squared off against Ohio State in 1995. A 50-yard touchdown pass from Jay Barker to Sherman Williams gave the Tide a 24-17 win over the Buckeyes. In 2011, Alabama dominated Kirk Cousins and Michigan State as the Tide held the Spartans' offense to just 171 total yards as Alabama rolled over number 7 Michigan State 49-7. The series between Alabama and Michigan is tied at 2 wins each. The Tide's first victory over the Wolverines came in the 1997 Outback Bowl. Linebacker Dwayne Rudd intercepted a Brian Greasy pass and took it back 88 yards to put Alabama ahead 10-6. Sean Alexander added a 46-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter to give the Crimson Tide an 11-point lead as Alabama defeated Michigan 17-14 in Gene Stallings' final game as head coach. And in the most recent matchup in 2012, the second-ranked Crimson Tide opened the season against number 8 Michigan at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. Alabama jumped out to a 31-0 lead as the Tide dominated the Wolverines 41-14. This season, number 14 Michigan enters the Citrus Bowl matchup against the Crimson Tide 9-3. All 3 of the Wolverines' losses have come against top 15 opponents. The Wolverines pulled out a tough 24-21 win in double overtime against Army in Week 2. Their biggest wins were a 10-3 win over number 14 Iowa on homecoming and a 45-14 rout of number 8 Notre Dame in Ann Arbor to close out the month of October. Jim Harbaugh is in his 5th season as head coach of the Maize and Blue. Harbaugh is 47-17 as head coach at Michigan and has double-digit wins in 3 of his first 4 seasons as head coach. This will be the first ever meeting between Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh as head coaches. The Wolverines are 5th in the Big Ten in scoring, averaging 33 points per game. Leading the Michigan offense is former Ole Miss quarterback Shea Patterson. Patterson ranks 2nd in the Big Ten, averaging 235.7 yards per game. Patterson has thrown for 2,828 yards on the season, about 1,300 less than the Crimson Tide's total passing yards of 4,122. On the ground, the Wolverines don't have a 1,000-yard rusher like the Crimson Tide and Najee Harris, but Zach Charbonnet and Hassan Haskins have combined to total 1,203 yards on the season. Ronnie Bell is Michigan's leading receiver with 44 receptions, but it's Nico Collins and Donovan Peoples-Jones that lead the team in touchdown catches. Collins leads the Wolverines with 7 touchdowns, while Peoples-Jones is right behind with 6. Defensively, the Wolverines rank 5th in the Big Ten, giving up 19.5 points per game. Leading the Wolverines on defense is Khaleke Hudson. Hudson is 1st on the team and 5th in the Big Ten with 97 tackles. The Alabama offensive line will need to know where Josh Uche is at all times. Uche leads the Wolverines with 8.5 sacks. While Alabama has been in the national championship game the past 4 seasons, and this will be the first time in the playoff era that the Crimson Tide will not be a part of it, there's still a lot to play for both sides.
I think everybody's got to refocus their mindset, in playing in this game. We're playing a very good team in Michigan, and I'm sure that they have their reasons for having their motivation to try to vindicate, some of the things that happened in their season. And I also think that, we have a lot of reasons to, want to play well, to, sort of vindicate some of the disappointments that we've had in our season.
Kickoff for the Verbose Citrus Bowl is scheduled for noon Central Time on New Year's Day. If you can't be at the game in Orlando, you can watch it live on ABC.
We're going to work our tails off every day. We're going to get this thing rolling in the right direction.
Oh, baby, what a jumper!
But we're going to get better, so we're going to give max effort, continuous growth, and then we talk about selfless love.
Tyra Lewis, a huge swing. Oh, my goodness, what a play. Unbelievable.
Holy smokes. Showtime. Bama fans here at Coleman are on their feet.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week, brought to you by Renaissance Bank.
The Alabama men's basketball team began a 3-game road stretch with a trip to College Station this past Saturday as the Tide took on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Trailing 17-15 early in the first half, the Crimson Tide used a 6-0 run to go up on top 21-17 with 9:56 left to go in the half. After Penn State went on an 8-0 run themselves to take a 25-21 lead, the Crimson Tide used another run to retake the momentum. Alabama scored 12 consecutive points to go up by 8, 33-25 with 4:25 remaining. Kyra Lewis Jr.'s layup in the final seconds of the first half gave Alabama the 6-point lead at the half, 40-34.
After the Nittany Lions cut the Tide's lead to just 2 in the opening moments of the second half, Alex Reese knocked down a huge three-pointer to give Alabama a 5-point lead as the Crimson Tide actually led by as many as 9 points on 2 separate occasions. With just over 6 minutes to play, Penn State scored 7 straight to take a 3-point lead at 66-63. Alex Reese then scored 5 straight to move the Crimson Tide to within 1 at 70-69 with just over 2 minutes to go. Trailing 73-71 with less than a second remaining, Kyra Lewis Jr. stole the inbounds pass at midcourt, has a shot at the basket for the win, but the ball fell just short of the net. Despite leading by as many as 9 in the second half, the Tide fell just short on the road, 73-71.
On Sunday, the Alabama women's basketball team hosted undefeated North Carolina. Alabama got off to a hot start, jumping out to an 11-3 lead after just the first 4 minutes of play. North Carolina came right back with a 13-2 run to take the lead at 16-13 at the first media timeout. The two teams, they did go back and forth, with the Tar Heels leading 26-23 at the end of the first quarter, but Alabama began the second quarter with a 9-3 run to retake the lead at 32-29, and then North Carolina went on an 11-point run of their own. That gave the Tar Heels a 7-point advantage at 41-34, and the Tide battled back but trailed the undefeated Tar Heels 43-40 at the half.
Alabama went up 50-45 in the opening minutes of the third quarter, but North Carolina answered back, taking a 57-54 lead with 3 minutes remaining in the quarter. The Tide and Tar Heels exchanged baskets for the rest of the period, with North Carolina holding a 64-62 lead heading into the final period. Both teams traded leads in the final period before the Tide pulled ahead 79-72 with 2:29 left in the game. North Carolina cut Alabama's lead to just 2 with 1:31 remaining, but a clutch jumper with a toe on the three-point line from Deshae Benjamin gave the Crimson Tide a 4-point lead with 23 seconds to go. It was Benjamin that sealed the game for good by knocking down 2 free throws with 3 seconds left. Alabama hands undefeated North Carolina their first loss of the season with the 83-77 win. And the Alabama men's basketball team was in Birmingham on Tuesday as they prepared for their Wednesday night matchup against Sanford and Maggie. I heard they had a special visitor at practice.
A special visitor we all want to see at this time of year, especially. Chris Stewart, he was able to attend Alabama men's basketball practice and see Coach Oates, all the guys, and this video shows just how happy they were to see him. Let's take a look.
Forgive me for interrupting. Can I pull you hard? Is that?
Without you. How you doing?
Great, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
No problem.
How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you.
I remember the last time I saw you.
Yeah, just a hair.
Good.
Always come back or what?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Make sure he plays when we come back to trip.
Good to see you. Big. What's up, Dave?
Man, how you
Good to
doing?
see you.
Good. Yes, sir.
A little better last time you saw me.
Oh, yeah. A lot better. Sorry. How are you?
Three-pointer on the way. Bottom.
What a road win for Alabama.
At the buzzer, counted if it goes. It's gone. Top of the key, a 3. Got it.
And there's Walker.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week, brought to you by Renaissance Bank.
Members of the Alabama Athletic Student Athlete Advisory Committee kicked off the holiday season by welcoming local children to Coleman Coliseum recently for the Crimson Tide's annual Project Angel Tree event.
Crimson Tide student athletes donated money, shopped for, and wrapped Christmas gifts for more than 40 children from the West Alabama community, with every Crimson Tide team participating in the outreach project.
Our Ariel Schaefer has a recap of this year's Angel Tree Project.
It is the most wonderful time of the year, and the Alabama athletics community got their holiday season started off early as the Student Athletic Advisory Committee held their annual Project Angel Tree.
This is Project Angel Tree. This year we're able to help almost 40 families in the West Alabama area, and it's just a night where we can give back to the community as student athletes and just, you know, bring a little joy at this time of the year.
Just trying to make them have a good time, just hang out with them, take pictures, whatever they want, make them smile and laugh, you know, and that's all what we're all about here at Alabama.
Just being able to represent our university in a good light, you know, and also it's always fun to give back to the community, and this is a fun event to just hang out with the kids, you know, just bring smiles to their faces during this time of the year and just, you know, just have fun.
Tuscaloosa has been great to me. I love it here. I'm not from the area, so being able to give back in every way I can, it's very important to me. I love it. It's honestly one of the best parts about SAC. We get to do a lot of things, but my favorite personally is just kids and being around them and all of that. So it's amazing.
2, 3. Merry Christmas!
Thank you, Ariel. The event marked the 28th consecutive year that Alabama Athletics has participated in the Project Angel Tree.
30 University of Alabama student athletes received their degrees from 9 different sports this past weekend, including 15 players from the football team. There was even a football and baseball player from the 1970s that received his degree.
Butch Hobson, who played football and baseball for Alabama in the 1970s, earned his bachelor's degree this past semester. A first-team All-SEC baseball player for the Tide, Hobson was named to Alabama's All-Century baseball team in 1993. He played 8 seasons in the major leagues for the Boston Red Sox, California Angels, and the New York Yankees, and went on to become manager of the Boston Red Sox from 1992 through 1994.
Clell, Butch, Hobson.
I think probably this is the most excited I've been since my last grandbaby was born. And this is a very exciting day for me, and my family's here, and it's been years and years of, you know, being away from Tuscaloosa and University of Alabama, and for me to be able to have accomplished this with a lot of help from a lot of people and my family and the athletic department, the greatest athletic department in the country. I'm a really blessed man.
Yeah, I think just everything that I'm doing is bigger than myself, and just being a part of the team in the Crimson Tide and like having this A on my chest is just represents something bigger than me, and it's cool to have that and carry that on now that I'm an alumni, so it's pretty cool.
Being here, obviously, like in Alabama, we're all one big family. You get to meet a lot of new people, get to introduce your culture, get to know other people's culture, so I feel like that's something I learned here, getting to know people and communicate with people.
Well, just coming in, it was all about learning how to balance and maintain. It was about time management, and I felt like I grew more as a person, not just from the athletic standpoint, but I grew more as a person. I obeyed my coaches, and I just came out every day and worked hard. And the big thing was me for when I won the NCAA Indoor Championship. That was huge for me, so it was awesome. It was an awesome feeling the whole time I was here.
Sure, baby. Thanks to God, baby.
Honestly, my mom didn't get to make it to my first graduation, so for her to be here, I'm a first-generation graduate, so that's super exciting for me. It's a milestone, so my little brother can follow in that, and just to set the bar high and be graduating the University of Alabama, the greatest place ever, I am super excited.
Yeah, makes the catch!
An unbelievable play!
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Are you kidding me? Wow. And it's an inside the park home run.
Trust each other, love each other, let's do this for one another.
She's meant so much to this program.
But I'm so proud of this team and where we're headed.
What a moment for the Crimson Tide when they needed it the most. A double-double was nuts.
We are built by champions.
So much airtime.
We are built by Bama.
Now let's take a look at next week's schedule for the Crimson Tide. What's next is brought to you by Renaissance Bank.
We only have a couple of basketball games remaining this year. There will be a doubleheader with men's and women's teams on December 29th.
The women will take on Southeastern Louisiana at 2 o'clock on SEC Network Plus, and shortly after at 5:30, the men will host Richmond. If you can't be here in Tuscaloosa for the game, you can watch that one live on the SEC Network. Thanks again for joining us for our special holiday edition of Tide TV this week.
See you next week, everybody. Merry Christmas and Roll Tide.
Hope you have a Merry Christmas. Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation of Learfield IMG College.